we're in this really great position because we have licensure programs in elementary education, and we have expertise in dual language and immersion education. So it was a really great opportunity for us to develop something that would be for this particular group of teachers. So this program, which we call the DLIL program, Dual Language and Immersion Licensure, although the licensure is actually in elementary education. These are for teachers. As you know, in Minnesota, you can hire individuals who aren't yet licensed to work in your schools. And so we're looking at individuals who need an initial teaching licensure. So for individuals who are already licensed in another program, another area, unfortunately this program will not serve them. This program is designed for people that need an initial license. So these are teachers of record that are already working in your schools. One of the things that we were able to do is we submitted a proposal for our program as a non-conventional program to the Board of Teaching, and that allows us to have the teachers going through our program to student teach in their own classrooms. The Board of Teaching, as you may know, requires that immersion teachers student teach in English medium classrooms. But we were able to argue differently, and so we're really excited about that. The program also targets Chinese international graduate students. 2 of them are here today to chat with you about their experiences in the program. And then also we're looking at individuals who are bilingual, and they may be working outside of education, or they may be working as educational assistants or paraprofessionals within school settings, and they want to become licensed teachers. And so we have this 2-year program. We're envisioning year 1 to be sort of the real heavy-duty student teaching preparation program. And in year 2, some of these individuals who aren't already teachers of record in schools may be hired. So that the 2nd year of the program, they could be a teacher of record in your school, and we would be finishing up, they'd be finishing up the program with us. So this leads to initial teacher licensure in elementary education, a Master of Education in elementary ed, and we're going to be developing a special certificate that helps teachers if they decide to go to other states and so on, that basically certifies that we had a very special language and immersion focus throughout the program. What we're hoping for is a new cohort every 2 years, approximately 30 people. And the program is designed with face-to-face intensive coursework and practicum work in the summers, and then hybrid work, face-to-face and Saturday sessions, Saturdays face-to-face, and then online coursework that happen during the academic years, and then clinical experiences in the schools. Our program staff, Stephanie Owen Lyons, is here. She is our full-time program coordinator, and we're absolutely thrilled to have her on board for the program. She is supported by Jade Beauclair, and we have a grant to support a variety of programs for 2-way teachers, and that grant support is providing a lot of support for this DLIL program. So we have some graduate assistants or other individuals that are hired to work with Stephanie as well, both Christian Belden and Corey Matthew. Student teaching supervisors that have worked with us this year are Alex Geraldo, a brand new PhD student, former Spanish immersion teacher, native speaker of Spanish, and some of you may know Ping Pan, who is a Chinese immersion teacher in the Minnetonka district. She was on leave this year to also continue in her PhD program with us. So she's been working with the program very closely this year and will be this summer as well, but then she will be going back to the classroom. So one of the things that we need is somebody who has Chinese and has the requisite background to serve as a student teaching supervisor for us. So if you have any ideas for us, please contact us, because we are really, really hoping to find an individual who has Chinese and has the requisite background. They have to have taught at least 1 year as a teacher of record in an elementary context, and they have to have a master's degree, and they have to have done coursework that leads to licensure, even if they don't have a current license. So those are the requirements. We also have a great team of instructors that started with us this semester and will be continuing through the summer and next year. So we're really excited about the continuity that we're going to have in the program with course instructors. Do you want to say anything about the course instructors? So our cohort began this January. We figured out a way to reduce the program to 5 terms. We had hoped to start in the fall, and we're not able to do so for a variety of reasons. So we started this spring, but we've been able to figure out how to make the program just 5 terms for that first cohort. So they will graduate in the summer of 2018. We have 26 participants, 11 Chinese, 5 are teachers of record, all at Inghua. So thank you for that. 4 graduate students who are Chinese nationals, and then we have 2 Chinese speakers that live in the community and are currently not working, and they are working toward this program as well. So you will have 6 individuals who will be licensed and ready to work in your schools. We also have 15 others representing the languages that you see there on the screen. So now we're recruiting for cohort number 2, and she is the person to talk to. The program will begin in June of 2018. Okay, so just to give you a sense of what this looks like, it will begin in the summer. They'll have face-to-face intensive coursework. They're going to do a practicum in English medium classrooms, in the elementary English medium classrooms. We had to do that to appease the BOT, the Board of Teaching, and make sure that they understand, because they're getting licensed in elementary education, right? I mean, this licensure is for elementary education, so we need to give them some experience in English medium classrooms where they're going to be doing some work with literacy development. And then we're also going to be having them observe in grade 6 classrooms, since the licensure does cover that, even though that grade is in middle school. Then during year 1, there'll be student teaching. The teachers of record will be student teaching for the whole year. Also the full-time graduate students and individuals who are unemployed. People that are already employed in schools as bilingual teaching assistants and so on will do a 12-week student teaching because they have to be excused from their jobs to be able to do student teaching. So we don't have a full year for them. What we have for them is a 12-week student teaching. And then they, like I explained before, they've got some Saturdays and then online instruction throughout the year. Summer 2, more coursework that is face-to-face, and then the EdTPA, which is an assessment that's required in the state of Minnesota. And we help them to start preparing for that in the summer. And then the following year, for those individuals who weren't already hired as teachers of record, they have the possibility of having been hired by schools to do that. And then we continue with the work pretty much the same that we did in year 1. And we will be continuing a relationship with the schools and mentor cooperating teachers that we have as well. Just to give you a sense of what the curriculum looks like, you see this course that shows up pretty frequently, Elementary Education, Content and Pedagogy. We have half of the program is made up of that class. There are 5 different iterations of it, and this is where they get all of their methods coursework. So they have literacy development, math, science, social studies, etc. We have these rather flexible modules that are all part of these courses. This was a program that was actually developed for the Teach for America program that was adopted at the University of Minnesota, and it was approved by the BOT, so it allowed us to, we actually were required to use the same curriculum at the university since it had already been approved. The Teach for America program, you may have heard, is no longer going to be offered through the University of Minnesota. They're just finishing up cohorts. They just found that it was not, it wasn't really a successful endeavor for the university, so they had decided not to do that. In year 2, you can see how this, so they start out quite intensively with much more coursework in year 1, and then that dwindles in year 2, so they can spend so much more time and energy on the classrooms. So some of the philosophies that underlie this program are related to the college's conceptual framework, where we always do what's based in research. So the teaching techniques that we teach our teachers are research-based. and that's very important to us at the University of Minnesota. We're also about honoring diversity. One of the things that's very exciting for us is that out of the 26 teachers we have in the current cohort, 21 are teachers of color. That's very exciting since Minnesota needs to diversify its teacher population. And we foster a commitment to lifelong learning and professional development. And then within our particular program, we have a strong emphasis on educational equity, induction, so being supportive of teachers throughout our program and into their teaching. We partner with various districts for student teaching, and with, like I said earlier, the Confucius Institute in Maine and so on. And so we're really establishing some strong relationships with the immersion programs that are helping us to identify student teaching placements and working with us to identify mentor teachers for the teachers of record who are going to be student teaching in their classrooms. We have immersion pedagogy infused throughout the program, and we really are focused as well on student achievement and engagement. And so a lot of what we talk about in the program is what needs to happen in order for students to succeed as learners, both English learners that are in our two-way programs and English proficient students. So like I said, we have this immersion-specific knowledge that is infused throughout the program. On those Saturday sessions, we have Maureen Curran-Dorsano, who is a former immersion teacher. She's retired from the Edina Public Schools French immersion program. She has been coming in and working with the teachers on Saturdays. We have Alex and Ping, both immersion teachers, working with the teachers as well. Stephanie started working on this, and then we've continued it throughout. We have been developing what's called the DLI Showcase. So for all of the courses that they have online, we have DLI-specific content and information and readings that they're getting in relationship to their math methods and their science methods and so on. We also are emphasizing these other topics, as you can see. Plus, they will get 2 specific courses that are designed only for immersion teachers that we have as part of our current certificate program for practicing teachers, biliteracy development, and of course it's focused on language instructional strategies. So a course that really helps teachers to understand how to infuse a focus on language and language development in the context of their content instruction. And those 2 courses count toward their final MED. So the program is 36 credits. 30 credits are the licensure courses, and then these 6 credits are the final for the MED. The student teaching I was talking about before, during year 1, they're going to be in their own classrooms with a school-based mentor teacher that has been identified. It needs to be somebody who's licensed already, and preferably somebody who's going to be in the same grade, but that may not always be possible. And then we want them to maintain connection to that new teacher in the 2nd year of the program as well, and to us. And then all others are going to be student teaching. The full-time graduate students are going to be student teaching for an entire year. Individuals, as I mentioned before, that are bilingual paraprofessionals will have a 12-week component. So people that are working outside of the schools or within schools, but in some other kind of job, will have a 12-week component. Okay? Any questions about how that's going to function, the student teaching portion? We need to make sure in year 2 that everybody is going to be assigned to some kind of a mentor teacher in classroom, because they have to do that for the EdTPA. They have to be videotaping themselves and doing teaching that all goes into this EdTPA assessment. The assessment and evaluation that we have for the program is closely aligned with what we require for all of our licensure programs at the University of Minnesota. And our licensure programs, for the most part, there's just a couple that are at the undergraduate level, but for the most part, all of our licensure programs are at the graduate level at the U. They complete these common performance-based assessments and evaluation of student teaching that will be used throughout the student teaching process, an immersion-specific evaluation of student teaching, dispositions assessment that is required, and then the EdTPA. Yeah, right, the dispositions.
I was talking about it earlier.
Yeah. So this is just one section of the evaluation of student teaching that all of our teacher candidates in the university get. This is a form that is used by student teaching supervisors and cooperating teachers to give teachers feedback throughout the year. And then we're developing